myself. My name is Anna Stanfill. This is my first year here at Myrtle Grove, but I was very lucky enough to student teach here last fall with Steve Morgan, who is a wonderful man. He's over at Coastal Christian High School. We will be having our 7th and 8th grade band concert on Thursday evening, and he will actually be guest conducting that a piece for 8th grade on Thursday night. So if you would like to come check it out and see where your kids will be in the coming years, please come. We would love to have you. We'll have a reception afterwards, free food, all that good stuff. I've had the joy of speaking with a few of you on the phone and through email. I am so excited to meet all of you tonight, and I am so excited to show you what we have done so far in just 3 months. Tomorrow is December 10th, and if you remember, your child has had their instrument in class since September 10th. So it's now been 3 months since they've had their instruments. So what we did the first couple weeks of school was we learned how to read music. Some of it was review from those that played recorder in 5th grade. And then we learned some rhythms. And then all the students got to try a flute, a clarinet, a trumpet, and a trombone. In this county, we don't typically start 6th graders on percussion or saxophone. We do have a few special cases, as you see. I do let students start on percussion that have had previous experience. And I've got an alto sax and a tenor sax because they had those instruments, or they have a parent that played. So that's where we are with that. Now next semester, some of your students may be asking you, hey, I want to switch to saxophone, or I want to switch to percussion. I will send home information on all of that. After, though, we got instruments in our hands, and we knew what we were going to play, we had to learn how to breathe, because we don't breathe the same way when we play an instrument. Who wants to tell us how we breathe while playing an instrument? Tyler Kirkhoff, give it.
We're supposed to feel like if you hit something empty and you breathe in it real deep, you feel the cold spot. That's how we're supposed to breathe.
Yeah, they need to feel the cold spot on the back of their throat. What else, Christina?
We're supposed to breathe through our diaphragm on our
Diaphragm, the big muscle, yes. What else? Anybody else with breathing? Anybody else? What about the sound? What should I hear when you're breathing? Joseph? Nothing. Why? What if you breathe like this? Maddie Martin?
your vocal cords mess up your breathing.
You obstruct the vocal cords. So we do breathing exercises every day, and we're going to show you a little bit that. Let's breathe in for 4. Let's tizzle for 4. Ready? Sit up. Breathe. One more. In. And tizzle. Yeah, the most important thing about playing an instrument and playing an instrument well is how much air you use. Now our percussionists don't need to use air to play, but they do these breathing exercises with us for fun. We change up the counts. Sometimes they'll breathe in for 4 and tizzle for 8. Sometimes they'll breathe in for 4 and tizzle for 12, and so on. It's just to show that we can use our air in so many different ways. Our favorite breathing exercise is what, folks? Sips. Sips, and sips expand the lungs, so we're going to show you how we do sips. Ready? Breathe. Hold it. Sip. 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 Let it go. Reset so you don't pass out. Remember how hard it was at the beginning of school, right? Your lungs are getting bigger. Ready? Breathe. Hold it. Sip. 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 And let it go. All right, we'll do one more set. Ready? Breathe. Hold it. Sip. 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 2 more. 1 more. Let it go. Good. Once we learned how to breathe, we learned how to read some notes. We've got instruments in our hands. You heard at the beginning while we were warming up, we sang each pitch. If your child can sing the pitch, then they know what it's supposed to sound like on the instrument, and it makes the world of difference. And then we learned our B flat. That was the very first note we learned, was a concert B flat. Play a B flat for me. Now I'm going to let them tell you, did it sound like that the first day we had instruments? No! Sure didn't. Thank you, parents, so much for letting your children be a part of our band program. Music is intrinsic in everybody. you connect with music from birth. We see babies at 2 months old that'll rock to music. And studies show that students that are involved in music tend to do better academically as a whole. And I know from when I was in 6th grade band myself, I actually started in 4th grade because I was in private school, I know how my parents felt when I practiced too. So thank you for putting up with that. I promise it's going to get better and better the more you let your children practice. We do practice journals, so if you haven't heard anything about a practice journal, you need to ask your child about that when we get home, because practice journals are due every Monday. They tell me 3 times a week what they practice, how they practice, and then I give them a safe space to ask me questions. If in case they're embarrassed, they don't want to ask me in front of the whole class. Practice journals in all of my grades have made a big difference on how we're performing. All right, finally, after we got to our first note, we learned hot cross buns by ear first. So we're gonna sing it for you, and then we're gonna get into our music. Bennett, can I get a D? Me, let's sing it for our parents. 1, 2, let's go right now. Me, re, do. Me, re, do. Do, 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 re, 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 re. Me, re, do. And then after lots and lots of patience, we were finally able to turn what we are holding in our hands into songs, from sounds to songs. But before that, let's show our parents how we started. Flutes, head joints. Now first, the easiest way to get a sound out of the flute is by the head joint. Go ahead, flutes, show them. Once they were comfortable with that, they were able to remove their hand from the tone hole. Ready? Then I let them have a little fun and go back and forth. Ready? Then they were ready to attach it to the whole instrument. Clarinets and saxophones got to start off on their mouthpiece. Wait till you hear this one. You ready, clarinets and saxophones? And then our brass, we learned how to buzz on our mouthpieces first. Because we learned that our mouthpieces are what? It's the what? It's the microphone, and our instrument is what? The amplifier. So we cannot play anything well on the whole instrument if we can't play on the mouthpiece first. Brass. Then they learned that they could do some sirens. Low to high. Then we learned we could go high to low. Then we put it all together. Mouthpieces, mouthpieces, everybody. Let's show them. Ready? And our percussion, we had to learn how to hold our sticks. So I taught them OK sign down near the label of their drumsticks. Wrap our fingers around, then hands at the sides, and then bring them up comfortably to a piece of pizza. And then let's go 4 on a hand, each hand. Ready? Starting with the right. 1, 2, here we go. Let's play a song. High cross buttons. I'll wait for you. Just stretch. And we all learned that we had to listen to each other to make sure that the stomps happened at the same time. Our next piece is Lightly Row. This is the part in class where we learned that sometimes we can have a little bit of harmony going on. So woodwinds, part A. Everybody else, part B. Let's switch. Next up we have Ode to Joy. We got to learn a little bit about Beethoven, and that when he wrote this symphony, Ode to Joy comes out of his 9th symphony, and today we learned that he was completely deaf by the time he finished this symphony. And how cool is it that Beethoven could hear all the sounds in his head and still composed a great piece of music, Ode to Joy. Incorporates the newest note that we have learned. These 6th graders have just started working on Old MacDonald last week, was it? Yeah, they just started working on this one last week, and it was already ready for this concert, so they're very excited to play it for you. All right, Old MacDonald. For you is going to be Shark. This is their favorite piece, and those of you that have listened to your child practicing, I guarantee you've probably heard this one about 10 times already. You ready? Here we go. Talk to you a little bit about you getting to try an instrument. So they should know that they already have somebody in their mind that came with them today. And their job is to show you how to hold their instrument, how to make a sound on their instrument, and then play a concert B flat on their instrument. And before we finish today, all of my volunteers are going to play a concert B flat for me. After we do that though, let me go ahead and tell you, before we proceed into the cafeteria for the reception, if I could ask for everyone to help out, and it'll get done very, very quickly. We just need to stack all the chairs, and we need to make sure all the plastic stands, they already know which stands go on those racks and which stands go in my room. Once all the chairs and stands are put away, then we eat and we celebrate and we have a great time. All right, so go ahead and grab your volunteers. I'll give you about 3, 4, 5 minutes.
Do you know how to focus and stuff? Okay, well, so you're pretty much the president. Excuse me, make it down, please. Thank you so
amazing that I have 55 sixth graders this year to share the love of music with. Let's get all our chairs and stands put away and then we eat.